Hello and welcome to this instalment of Talkin Trim. I'm Jonathon Skinner and today we're looking at the carpet set and associated hardware pieces for the Jaguar E-Type models. So strictly speaking, this carpet set is only applicable to the Series 1 and Series 2 open two-seater Roadsters and two-seater fixed head coupe models. So it doesn't apply to the Series 3 Roadster and it doesn't apply to any of the 2+2 four-seater fixed heads. It also doesn't apply to the very early versions of the Series 1s, effectively the flat floor versions where they didn't have that dished recessed element in the footwell. It doesn't apply to those. They had a completely separate carpet set, but this is by far and away the most commonly seen version of the carpet set on those Series 1 and Series 2 models. So just bear that in mind, it's not for the flat floor. Now, strictly speaking, this is actually for a right-hand drive car. There are some subtle but crucial differences between right-hand drive and left-hand drive, but we have all of the patterns. But strictly speaking, this is going into a right-hand drive car for a customer over in Australia. And what I want to do is just go over the basics of the carpet set and then also touch on some of the hardware items such as the felts and the fixings, as well as some overmats that we offer to protect the footwell front floors. So what we've got here is the carpet set. It's been done in Palomino Wool, which is effectively a sort of biscuit colour. So the main trim in this customer's car is biscuit. Biscuit being this shade here, biscuit light tan, which we've edged it in to complement his main trim. And then with regards to the carpets, we actually have a few shades that work nicely with biscuit as the main trim. You've got Palomino, which is what this one is, which is, I'd say, is probably the most popular choice for people going down that route. And then we have cinnamon and honey, both of which work really nicely, and obviously we would edge them in the biscuit edging material. So some people like that sort of contrast, lighter or darker, so completely up to you. And obviously we do send physical samples so you can make that choice yourself. But this one's been done in Palomino Wool, which is a lovely quality and lovely colour. Bear in mind, when it comes to the E-Types, we only offer the wool, which is the premium automotive carpeting material. It is worth noting that some Series 2s and into the Series 3 models, they did start using a flock pile carpet. That these days is not available. You can occasionally find some leftover stock of certain suppliers. We've got a little bit here in certain colours, but it's one of those colours, one of those materials that is not manufactured anymore. So we always default to wool, which is the premium carpeting material anyway. So obviously what I want to do is just go over the individual pieces of the carpet set, illustrate roughly where they go and the details of it all. Before I do, it is worth checking out other videos on my YouTube channel, some of which will be linked at the end of this video, as I've done numerous other videos detailing carpet sets for different specs, different colours, but also some of the other items that you may wish to consider getting at the same time as the carpet set, some things such as the Jaguar items, etc. Now that obviously does depend on the exact model that you have, so do check out those videos there. Right, before we go into the individual pieces, it's just a bit of a quick thing on the edging, or binding as we call it. You'll see that some of the pieces are edged, other ones are not. The general principle of edging is that when everything is said and done in the car, no raw edge is on show. It's either tucked underneath an adjacent edged piece of carpet, or it's tucked underneath an adjacent panel, so no raw edge would ever be on show. And what we've done over the course of almost 50 years of making the same kits is we've then tweaked our patterns slightly to give you a bit more extra play during the fitment process to ensure that everything fits the best way it possibly can. Obviously, there's a bit of a myth, shall we say, that pre-manufactured parts cannot fit these cars. That's not correct. The right people with the right patterns and the right skill set, it's not a problem at all. We haven't changed our patterns in decades. And one of the reasons for that is, say, some of these unedged pieces that we've got, say some of the front gearbox sections there, we've made them sort of deeper or longer than they need to be in certain areas, in the non-edged areas. And that means it gives you more play to tuck the unbound edges underneath the adjacent carpet edges. And it gives you that free-flowing look between the carpets, so that if there was any kind of exposed, a risk of exposed bodywork or anything like that, then that overlap does allow for that. So bear that in mind. It's one of the little touches that we've become renowned for in this industry, and why we've got such a good reputation within the industry for the quality, workmanship and fitment of our parts. So I thought I'd mention that. It's also worth mentioning our edging. We use leathercloth. We only ever use leathercloth for edging our carpets. Leathercloth, also known as vinyl or Rexin, is a PVC material, very much akin to vinyl, but it's slightly thinner but more robust. It has a different backing to it. So with leather cloth, you can kind of scratch the surface and nothing happens. It's a very robust material. It's what we use for edging our carpets. It's also what we use for piping our seats. A lot of other companies out there, they take shortcuts and they edge their carpets in vinyl. They pipe their seats in vinyl because presumably they want to just save the extra cost of having to stock an extra material, or perhaps they're unaware of the subtle but crucial differences between leather cloth and vinyl for these purposes. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I do want to point it out that the fact that if you edge carpets in vinyl, you get a much more sort of bulbous look to it. It's quite a bit fatter, and you often get sort of wrinkle creases along the top of it, whereas as you can see here, leather cloth, absolutely beautiful finish. Around corners you get a very neat tuck around the corners. And you can see the circumference of it. It does a small case E effectively, so it wraps round on itself. You don't get a raw edge on top, where again a lot of other carpet sets you'll find out there have a raw edge on top, whereas ours tucks round. So worth checking out the video that I'm doing to explain the difference between vinyl and leather cloth and the purposes of using them throughout the restoration of the car. I'm not saying vinyl's a bad material, it's just not suitable for edging carpets or piping seats where possible. So I just thought I'd touch on that. Anyway, let's dive into the carpet set. So let's start with the gearbox. Effectively, the gearbox is made up of 4 pieces. You've got what we refer to as the front gearbox sections there, which literally go right underneath the dash, either side of the gearbox tunnel. So it sits up on end like that in there. Now, for left-hand drive cars, you tended to have a big D heel pad on that piece there, but for right-hand drive cars, you did not. So you get a pair of those. They're edged on 2 of the edges, but the other edges are left raw, and again, will get hidden, as you can see there, by the adjacent bound edge of other pieces, or tucked underneath the front floor section there. So you get a pair of those front gearbox sections. You then get the sort of rear or main gearbox sections on the side there, and these are the bits that sit directly underneath the console. So here, effectively, down here on the car. And you get a pair of them. They're not mirror images of one another, they're slightly different, but again, they sit like that. That's obviously the step there for where the cross member piece goes. Obviously the exact layout of this carpet set's not exactly in proportion, but that's a step there for where the cross member seat mounting element goes. Then interestingly, on the left-hand one here, it's slightly bigger, and it also gets this Hardura pocket sewn onto the back of it. Creates a pocket in there, and you get these poppers on, and people often ask why, so I shall explain. You also get this piece of felt here, which is actually used to put inside here to add for extra sort of padding, and presumably to soak up any fluids and whatnot, due to the reason I'm about to explain. So, yeah, this one here, it tucks, top edge tucks underneath the console, bottom edge gets affixed to the fixings on the side of the gearbox thing, so you can effectively pop it up and it opens effectively like a flap to allow access to the pockets on there. And it's all related to this access hole on the gearbox here, to the actual gearbox area there. So presumably you can measure oil level and things like that, and I believe that's what this pocket was for. It was for an oil dip that you could store in there, and then effectively you pull the flap up and access it through there. So that's what that is for. Everyone always asks, which also I think speaks volumes, because I think it shows that a lot of other companies out there do not go to that detail, because otherwise it would be a well-known quantity within the restoration industry. But we do that as standard, as per original specification. So that's effectively the gearbox sections there. Like I said, the felt piece is for extra padding in the pocket and allows for absorption, shall we say, of the oil and whatnot. Then still in the sort of underdashy area, we've got the toe board carpets. So they're these pieces here, which they're 2 rectangles, rectangle squares, roughly. They're bound all the way around, and they sit literally on the firewall like that, up in the footwell area where all the pedals are and whatnot. Then I'm going to jump to the cross member pieces, and then we'll come back to the front floors, because there's a lot more to be said on the front floors. So these are the cross member pieces. So obviously the cross members that had the seat bracket supports that went from left to right on the car, that is for wrapping around those. They effectively go up, across and down, and they're edged on one side, not on the other side. again, because that is then covered up by adjacent pieces of trim in there. So you get a pair of those there. Then onto the front floors. So the front floors, they did differ slightly between left-hand drive and right-hand drive. Remember, these are for the recessed dished front floor versions, which is the version for most Series 1 and Series 2 of the two-seater versions of the E-Type. So two-seater fixed head, two-seater Roadsters, Series 1, Series 2. The very early cars, the flat floors, they didn't have this dished sort of front footwell area. And then they realised, I think, that people couldn't really get in the cars very easily. So they quickly changed that, and they effectively, you can see here, as it slopes down, in the front floor, you have this dished out section, which gives you that extra crucial foot room to be able to actually sit in the car and operate the pedals. And so this is for that version there. Obviously, the flat floor versions had a very different carpet set, and we have done a video detailing those, so do check that out. So the front floor carpets, they are carpet, they're edged all the way around. They then have this big heel pad in the middle of them. Now, the heel pad on this particular one is Storvik. Storvik is a plastic, and it's the material they originally used from the factory, and it's got a grain to it, and it's available in a decent range of colours, but not all colours. But this is, again, where we come up trumps in the industry. We offer so many different shades that obviously what we want to try and do is make sure that your heel pads tie in with the edging and or complement your main trim. Now, it's easy for Biscuit because Biscuit is a fairly standard colour. You can get Biscuit Storvik colours, so a decent range of colours are available in Storvik. But for ones that are not, what we then do, we get a piece of plastic and we cover it in the Leathercloth material, which, like I say, I'll remind you, is a very robust material, so it's very suitable for heel pads. In fact, they did start using it on some of the other era cars during its production. And we cover it in the Leathercloth material so that your binding and your heel pad are exactly the same colour and everything stays consistent throughout. So again, these are the little steps that we go to, the little touches that really make your restoration the most complete it can be. So again, and we do that as standard. We know all the colours, we know what works best. We've been doing the same kits over and over and over again, and we cater to such a wide range of different opinions on things that often we are asked for, basically do it how you would do it. So obviously with that as well, we can go down a bit more of a customized route, and we have done before, where we've gone really sort of outlandish on different heel pad colours if you want to add a bit of extra spice, should we say, to your restoration. But just talk to us about it. But either way, Storvik heel pad that allows for that dish section to go down there. So you can see it in this here, it kind of slopes and curves round. And then the rest of the carpet is bound all the way around, obviously, as such. This is, there you go, the back of it there, all sewn in, etc. There we go. So yeah, you get a pair of front floor carpets as well, and that concludes the carpet set as such. Now, in addition to the carpet set, let's talk about the hardware side of things, and this becomes crucial actually, especially with these front floors here. Underfelts. We offer soundproofing kits made out of natural jute felt, as per this material here. Black, faces up towards the sky, and the felt goes down towards the floor. So we offer a pre-cut kit for that, which we do recommend you use, even if you are putting modern day heat and sound barriers in. This stuff here provides a nice underfoot feel in terms of softness, but also it crucially provides the right thickness underneath the carpets. It's worth noting we recommend between 5 and 10 millimeters underneath the carpets, and a lot of the modern day heat and sound barrier stuff is very, very thin when you apply it. I've actually got some in my car, but then I've got felts on top of it, and that's generally the way we recommend people go. So depends on the thickness of your modern day stuff. I'm not going to even pretend that the natural jute felt is anywhere near the same capabilities in terms of blocking out sound and heat that the modern day stuff is. It is not. I highly recommend the modern day stuff. It's great stuff. But for the positioning of the carpets, we really do recommend that you have a natural jute felt on top, unless you've got a thick version of modern day things, which they do them, but most of the premium ones are very, very thin. So bear that in mind. And it's worth noting on our Underfelt kit, and I think I have done another video detailing this, we actually double up on the front floors. We give you 2 pairs or 4 pieces of front floors. And the reason for that is over the course of time, we've been advised that because of the unique nature that these front floors are trimmed to get definition going around, you can actually kind of see it there, a bit of definition going around in that recessed area. Sometimes you actually need an extra bit of thickness in that area. So for years now, as standard, we've always doubled up on our front floors. It's up to you whether you use the second layer of it, but certainly enough people have said to us that it actually did help, that we've just started standardly offering it, whether you use it or not. So bear that in mind, because the fitment of those front floors, a lot of people, you see them, they just chuck them in and then they complain about the fit of them. And actually, for such a simple piece, they're actually pretty hard to get to look nice, because it's such an odd system having this recess in there. So I'd highly recommend spending a bit of time actually getting them to fit correctly, because a well-trimmed set of front floors really does look the part in these cars, because you see so many that don't make the effort and they just kind of chuck them in. So anyway, that's our underfelt kit, which we do recommend you use. Then you've got the carpet fixings. Originally they were these male female mushroom fixings in black, and we sell them as a carpet fixing kit, and they go into various areas of the carpet set. In the corners they pierce through, so basically that pierces through the carpet into that on the back of the carpet, and then can't do it one-handed, there we go, and then this fits into the male fitting on the actual car itself. So yeah, carpet fixings kit sold separately to the carpet set, underfelt kit sold separately to the carpet set, and then finally we've got some choice of front floor carpets here, overmats. So these effectively are to just put over your front floor carpets to protect them from dirt, etc. Keep your nice front floor carpets absolutely pristine. You've got a couple of different versions. Got these rubber ones here. It's a nice rib rubber. They have the Jaguar logo on them. They have a grippy back to them as well. Just realised they're the wrong way around, aren't they? Never mind. There we go. Like that. So yeah, a pair of front floor overmats in rubber. They're really good because you can just wipe them clean if you get any mud on them. Or you've got a bit more of a premium plush nylon black with a Jaguar logo on them there, and obviously it's got that sort of pre-slit dimension there to allow for the recess on the actual front floors itself. So they are sold completely separately, so that's one kit, that's another kit, your choice which one you go for, but I do highly recommend them. Again, I've got a Series 3 Roadster, which obviously this carpet set is not for, but they do a similar version for the Series 3 Roadster, and I've got the rubber overmats in mine. Use them every day because it just means that I don't have to think about the lovely damp UK weather and that affecting my nice carpets. So yeah, that's basically the overview of the carpet set. Like I say, there are other elements that you might want to consider at the same time. Things like the under-seat hardura, so nothing related to directly what's on the floor underneath the seats has been included in this video because it's not actually carpet, it's hardura, which is a completely separate material. So I have done other video detailing that, so do check those out. But this is just an overview of effectively the main carpet set and the associated hardware items for the Series 1, Series 2, two-seater E-Type. So that's the two-seater, open two-seater Roadster and the two-seater fixed head coupe model, but not the flat floors. Okay, I think I've rounded up. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember to like, share and subscribe. And of course, be sure to check out our next video. And if you've got any questions about your E-Type restoration, I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much. See you next time.